I can. Okay.
How many guitars are you going to do?
One.
All right.
For cancer, Relay for Life.
Okay. Okay, we have someone that can't follow rules. You will be severely punished.
That would be me.
You will be flogged. Okay, so let's get that. What's the next question?
I have a technical thing.
What's the
For
technical?
those of us with hearing losses, can we get closer or they?
Oh my God, why can't you?
Come on.
What are we doing back there? Come on up.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Bring your seats forward.
Move forward.
Slide up.
Second row, pick up chairs. Follow the first row.
Everybody's moving closer.
Come on down.
I hope they don't knock the table over. Oh my God. I better move up. There's John McGee.
Very nice, very nice. Good, now you don't need a moderator, that's fine.
Byron. Russell put together the gathering after the third show tonight.
Okay.
I wore that yesterday.
Need a moderator.
I've got one I've already asked Don, but I'll repeat it so everyone can hear it or answer it. But in 2004, 2005, some of you saw a car commercial by Mitsubishi.
Oh, yeah.
And a soundtrack behind it by a group or a guy
Oh, yeah.
who called himself Start the Commotion.
Oh, yeah.
And those of you,
It was the Wise Guys.
Wise
Guys.
But it was only one person. He overdubbed everything. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, and by the third time I heard it, I said, okay, I know which album, Ventures album that's from. I'll go pull it out and listen to it to be sure. And sure enough, it's Wild Child from the Wild Things album. And I'd asked Don earlier about royalties regarding that, that commercial.
Yeah.
And
Well, what happened is he tried to get away with using it, thinking probably, nah, the Ventures are an old group from then, and that was put out in probably 64 or 5, something like that. I don't remember when, but exactly what year. We have so many albums that it's hard to know. However, what he did was, what do they call that? They sampled it. He sampled it.
Easy to do.
He could have played it himself, and he would be fine. But no, he took it off of our record and put it on there, sampling it, and then tried to get away with it by not telling anybody what it was. And, you know, we have people like you who are real police, and they know everything. They say, oh, that's Ventures. And so somebody, and that came from England, and
Yeah,
somebody
somebody in England, I
Yeah.
forget who it was, sent me an email and
Yeah.
said, do you know about this?
Mhm.
And so we found out about it. We had somebody in England, our sub-publisher, find out about it. And so that particular song was in the EMI publishing catalog. So I contacted EMI Publishing and said, do you know about it? And they said no. They found out about it and they made a deal with him and we got
66 and 2/3% of everything he made.
Right.
Good job. Good job. Hey, Don,
Actually, it was a big part of the song.
Yeah. There's a commercial right now that sounds so much like it. I emailed somebody about it. I just heard it the other day. It's the same kind of sound. It isn't that, but it sounds, every time I hear it, I think, somebody ripped it off.
Well, you know, they play a lot of Ventures. I don't know if anybody heard this, but on Dateline last week, they played Surf Rider underneath whatever they were talking about. I don't know, but I wish they'd played a little louder.
hey, Don, I think everybody in the room is intrigued with that American Master Series tribute concert to Les Paul. Could you guys, I already ran this by Bob, and he gave me some info. Can you guys tell us, share some thoughts about how that evening went?
Bob Balding could talk about that.
Well, talk about the people that were there and shared it with.
Yeah, it was a great evening because I can tell you backstage that we were all just kind of sitting around thinking, you know, what are we doing here? Because we're with all, you know, a sundry of great guitar players, including our friend Dwayne Eddy, Lonnie Mack, James Burton, and then we were with some of the newcomers that was intriguing. A young man named Richie Sambora, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. And another young man named Slash from Guns N' Roses. And everybody was just great, and it was just a tremendous experience to play on the same stage with Les Paul and his trio. And it was just absolutely a great.
And what was that final number that you guys all did?
Well, it was supposed to be a shuffle, and Noki had to teach Slash.
Yes. So here it is.
Noki's giving guitar lessons.
Did Slash have to teach Noki anything? I guess not.
And then I'm proud of this. This is me and Les Paul. And let me tell you something. When I went to see Les Paul, we had dressing rooms. There was a corridor and then dressing rooms on each side. And his dressing room, of course, people lined up. They wanted to meet Les Paul. And so I got in line. And I finally got in there. And of course, there's always somebody that, really takes up his time. And he's going, And I want to tell you something. Now, this may be a little raw, but don't worry about it. It's okay. Everybody knows. So anyway, anybody that he really didn't know that wanted their picture taken with him, if you see the picture, he gives them the bird. He did. But anyway, when I came to him, I said, we started a group called The Ventures in 1958. And, we were actually the Versatones then. We
Horrible.
called ourselves the Versatones because we thought we were versatile, switching off lead and rhythm. And so we went to register the name, and thank God it was already taken. So then my mom said, well, you guys are venturing into something new. Why don't you call yourselves the Ventures? And I thought, well, that's pretty corny, venturing into something. So anyway, we called ourselves the Impacts. And that lasted for about 2 weeks, and we thought, no, that just doesn't fit us, so we landed on the Ventures. But anyway, going in to see Les Paul, I said, we started a group called the Ventures, in 1958, 59, or whatever I told him. And he said, his eyes lit up, actually. He said, the writer. And I said, yeah, Johnny Smith. He said, yeah, Johnny Smith. He said, and he's 93 years old, And so he said, he called me and wanted me to record Walk, Don't Run. And I was too busy, doing Via Con Dios with Mary Ford or whatever he told me. But, actually his version would have been like Chet Atkins. It probably would have been buried in an album. He wouldn't have done it like us. And he just gave me the big compliment. He says, when I heard your version, you guys nailed it. Wow, what a compliment from Les Paul.